Hi everyone. I just wanted to make a quick video about that inspect element tool. Okay, because I talked about it kind of quickly in one of the videos, but I want to spend a little bit more time on it just because I do think it's a very useful tool, and it's kind of overwhelming at first when you take a look at it. So it's if you just look at it like this, you're like, what the heck is going on? So I'd like to just spend a moment to look at various things. So like I said, if you right click on anything like this or this, there's the option to inspect element. So for example, if I take, let's say I want to know what this white box is. Okay, this white box. So let's right click on that and I can go to inspect element. Now you may not be able to find it immediately, but you can start mousing over these various parts and you can start to see that it starts highlighting things. Okay, so there we go. Div class container contents. Okay, and usually if the programmer did things nicely and put descriptive names, then you can kind of guess what these things are. So it's class container, so it's some sort of container, this white thing, and it's class contents, which basically what it is the contents of the website. You can see here. And I want to talk about when it highlights, the different things that it highlights. Now I'm going to be moving my mouse so they kind of disappear. But when you look at this section right here, watch when I mouse over it, okay, you can see that it highlights it in blue. Okay, there's dotted lines. And if you look on the left and right sides, you can see that there is some yellow. Okay, now the first thing I want you to notice is I want you to notice the size. Okay, so just under the blue highlighted part, you can see that it says div container content. So it gives you the name of the class or the ID of that div. Okay, and it gives you the exact dimensions. Okay, and why is this useful? A lot of times when students start running into problems, it's because the dimensions of their divs start overlapping with other divs, or when they try to start floating things around, things get kind of like all over the place. So those dimensions can kind of help you understand what's kind of going on with your different boxes, with your different sizes, right? Are your boxes overlapping? Is there enough space for the box that you want? That sort of thing. And next, I want you to direct your attention to this thing right here. Okay, now this will tell you, right, the blue part is the actual content. Okay, the stuff that you write and the words and everything that's contained inside the div is that blue, and you can see the dotted lines. Anything that's purple is what is padding. Okay, borders are gray, and yellow is your margin. So let's go back to this div container contents. I mouse over that and take a look up top there. You see the blue content? So that's the blue content. And then on the left and right, you see that yellow. That means this div has margin. Okay, how big is that margin? Let's click on that. Okay, and once you click on that, it will actually show here, as you can see, the size of the contents is 1315, size of the padding is 0, and you can see that the margin left and right is auto. Okay, and you can see when I mouse over top of this, you can see it appear up here. Okay, watch for it. These spaces right here, I'm going to mouse over that, and you see that yellow pop up? So you can actually see that this thing has margins. Okay, let's try to look for a different thing. So let's take a look at this class gray background featured container. Okay, so there it is. There's the gray background feature container. Okay, I mouse over top of it. Maybe I'll put this up a little bit like so. And do you see the different margin and padding? Okay, so you can see that there's a top and bottom margin. Okay, top and bottom margin. It looks like the top margin is bigger than the bottom margin, and actually, since I've clicked on this, it appears up here and it'll tell you exactly the top margin is 42, the bottom margin is 10. And you can see the padding, 6 pixels of padding on the bottom, right? Highlighting right there. Take a look at this part right there. And you can see the margin in padding. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea of how people are doing things, okay? And this should also be used when you make your web pages, and you can kind of take a look at your padding. Like I noticed that on some of your assignment 2s, that some of you put like some huge paddings or some huge margins, like 50% margin and stuff like that, and it was pushing stuff all over the place. And at first you kind of don't know about these things. You're like, what's going on? Why are my things in the middle of the page and they should be on the left? And sometimes it's just the fact that your margins are just kind of fighting with other margins of other things. And this is a good way to kind of look at where your margins and paddings kind of end, and are they kind of conflicting with other elements. Okay, so hopefully you can use this tool to your advantage. It's not fundamental. You can, I'm sure a lot of my students have never used this in the past. My past students have never used this and made wonderful web pages, but it can be a good tool.